Exercising is a paradox, and we need to rethink it.
Losing weight is hard, and unfortunately, your body is sabotaging you every step of the way. Your body is a biological machine that follows the laws of thermodynamics and needs energy and raw materials to stay alive, which is why you eat. The energy from food is measured in calories, and you need a certain amount to power your internal machines. Your brain thinks, your heart pumps, your gut digests, your immune system immunes, and you contract your muscles to move around. The harder a movement is, the more calories you burn.
Somebody once told me you can never outrun the fork.
An hour of walking burns about 260 calories, moderate swimming 430, biking 600, running 700. If you eat more calories than you burn, your body stores them, mostly in the form of fat. 1 kilogram or 2 pounds of fat is about 7,000 calories. Seems simple. To lose weight, you have to burn more than you eat, so fat is turned back into energy. There are 2 ways to do this: eating less, which we'll cover in another video, and burning more, say by moving around aimlessly, also called working out. We also get told early on that exercising is healthy somehow, so working out should kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Unfortunately, this doesn't exactly work out. It's one of these frustrating experiences where you do what you think's right, only to not see the results you deserve. In reality, exercising is a bad way to burn fat. And until recently, we fundamentally misunderstood what moving around a lot does to our bodies.
This opening is confusing to me. I mean, I work out a ton, and I have seen results from it. So this truly is a paradox. But let's give it a chance.
The myth of the workout. A few years ago, scientists began to compare populations in industrialized societies, which sit a lot, to hunter-gatherer communities who move around a lot. The Hadza people in Tanzania walk an average of 9 kilometers a day to find wild plants and hunt animals, dig for tubers, climb trees for honey, or collect water.
These people are inherently moving throughout the day. They're not forcing themselves to move at a certain time. They're moving because of the activities that they do. Maybe this is where they're going. I always thought it was important to integrate movement through activity instead of having a workout at a specific time. It's also more fun and playful to have activities that are making you move instead of having a specific time to go move.
They can move more in a single day than an office worker in a week. So of course they burn more calories, right? But it turns out that the Hadza burn the same amount of calories per day as a typical person in an industrialized country, around 1,900 for women and around 2,600 for men, which doesn't make sense at all. It's also not their genes, since it's the same for other hunter-gatherer tribes.
Whoa, this truly is a paradox.
So the confused scientists looked at similar measurements in individual countries. It got even stranger. Active people who work out regularly do burn more than inactive people, but only very little, often as low as 100 calories, the equivalent of a single apple. For some strange reason, the amount of calories you burn is pretty much unrelated to your lifestyle. Per kilo of body weight, your body has a fixed calorie budget it wants to burn per day. Sure, if you want to gain muscles by pumping iron, you also need to eat more to build and sustain them, or your new muscles wither away. But in total, your body keeps your calorie budget per unit of you pretty stable.
So working out and eating more to gain muscle makes sense. But what about the fat loss, which is kind of what we're all going for unless you want incredibly big muscles, which is not a lot of people, but there are people out there that want that.
Make matters worse, if you want to lose fat, your body sabotages you in small and big ways. First of all, when you begin to work out regularly, maybe going for a run in the morning, your body may subconsciously make you move less when you don't pay attention. Maybe you take the elevator instead of the stairs, you sit more when you meet your friends, or you sleep longer, largely balancing out your burn again, preventing you from burning much fat. You can overcome this temporarily. If you do actually change your life after sitting around for years and suddenly start working out without eating more, this is a shock to your system. You actually do burn more calories and lose fat, so you can lose a few kilos or pounds through exercise. But this is very short-lived. Your body adapts and burns fewer and fewer extra calories each day until it restores its original calorie budget. After a few months, you burn basically the same amount you did when you didn't work out.
Sounds like our subconscious is sabotaging us. The body always returns to homeostasis. I work at a place that I stand for long periods of time, and I know that what happens a lot of times is our body gets used to certain things. You can feel your body getting used to certain things like standing for long periods or being not used to things. Like I've been to a trampoline park recently, and when you bounce on the trampoline, you're using muscles that you haven't used in a while, and the next day you're really sore. So the body has the ability to adapt, but over longer periods of time.
Bizarre. And now we're getting to the actual reason why exercise is healthy. Why your body is sabotaging you. So your body has a hardwired activity budget per day that it wants to stick to. This setting evolved when humans had to move a lot. Not because they wanted to, but because they had to find food for survival. But when food is abundant and exercise is voluntary, what does your body do with the energy that you're not using to move around? We're simplifying a lot here, and this is relatively new science, but in a nutshell, there are many different systems in your body trying to do their job as well as possible. And if there's extra energy, they seem to use it. Unfortunately, this is bad.
So the body uses a specific amount of calories daily, which makes sense when you look at it from the adaptation standpoint of being hunter-gatherer or just living your modern day-to-day life now. What doesn't make sense is the comparison between the two.
When your immune cells detect injuries or infections, they trigger inflammation. Fighter cells, alarm chemicals, and fluids flood into your tissue. This is crucial, but it also causes damage, so it needs to be cleaned up quickly or it can become chronic. And chronic inflammation is one of the major contributors to many serious diseases, from cancer to heart failure. If your immune system is on a tight budget, it has to be efficient with inflammation. With lots of free calories, though, it overcommits.
So inflammation is not good.
Another thing is that your glands produce hormones you don't need, like cortisol, the stress hormone, which triggers your fight or flight response. Crucial for survival, but if you have too much of it, you get, well, very stressed all the time. Chronic stress is a major cause for a bouquet of health issues, including your mental state.
So it seems like another contributing factor is the hormones you release. If you can release less of these hormones like cortisol with deep belly breaths, putting your system in rest and relax instead of fight or flight, it's better for you. A lot of people breathe with their chest, but if you breathe with your belly, it releases less of those chemicals and puts you in a different nervous system. Less stress also helps you live longer, so all around a good thing.
For our ancestors who moved a lot and had to deal with sudden bursts of activity, fleeing from a lion, attacking that bison, this cortisol was crucial. But if you live a modern, sedentary lifestyle, your body is ready for action that doesn't happen, hurting itself in the process. Your body evolved to move regularly and is fine-tuned to a certain base level of activity. If this activity is missing, it still uses almost the identical amount of energy just on stupid stuff. This is why you burn almost the same amount of calories whether you work out or not. By working out, you're not doing anything extra, you're doing what your body is literally made to do. Working out is not a magic bullet, but it seems to restore an internal physical balance that seriously affects your body. And this is also why regular exercise is so incredibly healthy. The evidence is incredibly clear here. It reduces chronic inflammation and stress, it's good for your heart, may ease depression, and makes you live longer and better.
So working out is good because we're not getting that active lifestyle anymore by sitting on computers and typing. Having an active lifestyle is healthy. I mean, just put aside all the other benefits, working out definitely helps my mental state. When I'm doing things that are not really active, I get in this fog, this mental barrier, this sort of depression. And when I'm actually moving daily and working out, I feel so much better.
Movement is not really made to burn your fat, though. Why humans are so hungry. When your ancestors evolved, they had to work hard for calories. Sometimes it would be easy and they could afford to chill out quite a bit. But in hard times, they had to move quite a bit to feed themselves, walk longer to find prey, or dig longer to find tubers. If extra movement burned more calories, this would lead to a spiral of starvation. The less food you find, the more energy you need to find food, which doesn't even fill you up because you moved more. It's like taking on more debt when you're in the red. It works for a while, but then you go bankrupt and die.
Having this adaptation where we burn the same calories daily was essential to our survival and evolution.
So, for your ancestors, being able to move a lot without burning extra calories was a matter of life and death. Okay, but this means the obesity epidemic of the modern world is not primarily caused by laziness, but by overeating. Humans evolved to be mad for calories. Because of our extremely hungry brains,
Salt, sweet, and fat used to be hard to get. We had to work to get it. But now they're just abundant everywhere. And corporations have used this special combination of ingredients to essentially addict us to food. So there's no doubt that we're overeating right now. And the corporations have got better at it. Just look at pictures of people on the beach back in the day in the 80s, maybe even before that. And then nowadays, people are engorged. It used to be a sign of wealth to be bigger. But now everybody has that option because we get fed food that causes us to eat more and more, giving these corporations more and more money.
and are extremely useless kids. Kids are cute, but unlike other species, human kids have to be fed and cared for by adults for years before they become even remotely useful. Because the human brain not only eats up about 20% of all our calories at rest, twice as much as our closest ape relatives, it also takes a lot of time to develop through playing, learning, and honing social skills, all the things that make us human.
As children, we don't need a calorie surplus, but we definitely need the calories to develop, to play, to learn, to think, to grow.
Our species is so extremely calorie expensive to maintain that we became super efficient calorie harvesters. 5 hours of human hunter-gatherer foraging yields between 3,000 and 5,000 calories, while our ape relatives get no more than 1,500 in the same time. And we became so good at calorie harvesting precisely because of our big brains and years of social skill training. In a typical ancestral tribe, some members would spend the day searching for plants, others hunting or gathering honey, others nurturing kids. And at the end of the day, we'd share the calories so that no one would end up hungry. Being frenetic calorie harvesters seems to be deeply part of what makes us human. It's not a bug, but a feature.
Food is essential, but we've become addicted to our current lifestyle.
It seems as if that feature has turned on us. We can't stop overproducing food and overeating. If you want to lose fat, food is the answer.
But nobody really thinks of food as an addiction, or food even as a drug. But with the rising rates of obesity, food is definitely a vice.
So to conclude, you'll probably not lose nearly as much fat by working out as you hoped, but you will do something more important. Give your body balance and make you more resilient, and prevent or delay many of the diseases that will make your life miserable, so you can enjoy a higher quality of life for much longer.
So the whole point is to work out, to be active for a better quality of life, not necessarily to lose weight. Like I said before, you can never outrun the fork. It's all about the food that you intake.